Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your um, afternoon. Hopefully not missing your lunch break for this. But yeah, this meeting should be pretty quick. It's just going to be an overview of what this season is going to look like for Women's Squash Week. We're excited to have it come back. I'm also joined with Justina, who's also going to step in throughout
Hello.
the presentation. Okay, so just a rough agenda for today's meeting. So we're going to give an overview of Women's Squash Week, the 2023 data, talk about what our goals are for this upcoming year, how to become an ambassador, how to host an event, and then we'll talk about some exciting funding opportunities. We're excited to offer a new grant this year for additional women's programming, and then we'll talk about next steps. Yeah. So Women's Squash Week overview. So it started back in 2013 with Squash BC stepping in to support the committee that was running it through VSL. And then the focus was on women in squash and growing participation. It's supported by female ambassadors across BC. It wouldn't be possible without the support of the amazing ambassadors across the province. And then it's a perfect way for your club to contribute to the growth of the sport. Currently, our women's membership is 26.4%, so we're hoping to get that closer to equal if we can. So last year's data, we smashed the records. We had a total of 556 participants, over 50 events, and 23 facilities participated. We were excited to have, for the first time ever, all 8 zones represented across the province. So we're hoping that comes back again this year. So this coming year, Women's Squash Week is going to take place September 17th to 30th. So that allows us to host on 2 different weekends throughout the season. Squash BC will also be offering funding and equipment support. Justina will talk about that a bit later. Last year we did a big revamp on the ambassador package. We've made a few changes this year, and that's going to be released right after this meeting. Women in Squash program grant available is something Justina will talk about later, but that's an exciting new opportunity to retain those Women's Squash Week participants and keep them engaged in the communities across the province. Women's Squash Week 2024, Squash BC aims to have over 600 participants. So we're looking to get 50 more participants than last year. What is a Women's Squash Week ambassador? So an ambassador is a key contact between Squash BC, the club, and all the event participants. The vital role in interacting with new members and participants. This person's like the showcase person, especially following the event. So they're the face that most of these new participants recognize going into future programming at the club. So this ambassador plays a vital role in being that spokesperson for the club and for squash. The ambassador can be anyone looking for a difference at the club. So it could be a volunteer, it could be the coach, it could be a club admin, anyone that is open to setting up an event and getting the community together. Could be an ambassador, and it's a pivotal as a future leader in the women in squash events at your club. So why host an event? So engage current, past, and new female players to get back on the court for the 2024 season. Increase the diversity of your club's membership. Fun event to kick off your 2024 season. Event funding and equipment support, and be part of the growing women's community across the province. So a Women's Squash Week event could be many different things. In the ambassador package, I think there's around 15 different ideas of types of events you could host with some background of why you host the various types of events. So it could be led by one of your coaches or one of your community members, introductory squash lessons, a drop-in night, wine and hit squash, mini tournaments, team competitions, squash 57. So each club has a different vision of what Women's Squash Week programming could be at your facility. Some like to do it to get players back onto court, where some clubs use it to grow their membership by running targeted new programming, and then some use it to retain the members that have been playing through it this summer. Squash BC support. So again, we'll be releasing the ambassador package following this meeting. The event funding, we're providing up to $150 per facility to run Women's Squash Week programming at our facilities. We also provide equipment, balls, posters we create. We'll also do some marketing across our platforms to ensure that the community is aware of these events. Squash BC ambassador support. We also will be providing shirts again this year. We had a fantastic rebrand of the both the organization and Women's Squash Week. As you probably saw on the first slide, there's a new Women's Squash Week logo that we're excited to push throughout the marketing this year. We think this new branding will better engage the community and make marketing materials nicer going forward. And then new this year, we're offering $100 programming funding, and Justin is going to elaborate about that in a bit.
All right, I can go over the financial support and equipment support. So there are 3 levels for the Women's Squash Week grant funding. So at level 1, you should have 10 or less participants, and at least 1 ambassador must complete one of the Squash BC Safe Sport courses. This is outlined more in the Women's Squash Week ambassador package, but these are the Safe Sport module, Commit to Kids module, or the Make Ethical Decisions module, and the event package will have links to how to find them and their costs. So for the funding and equipment, this will have a $50 grant. You will receive 3 balls and 1 ambassador shirt. You can purchase an additional ambassador shirt for $25. And this can come out of the event funding. So instead of us sending you $50, we'll send you $25, or you can send us an e-transfer payment, whatever is easiest for you. At level 2, event requirements are all the level 1 requirements, but with 11 to 25 participants, and the funding and equipment will be $100, 6 balls, and up to 2 ambassador shirts. And then at level 3, again, all the level 1 requirements, but with 26 plus participants, and you're committing to hosting a Women in Squash programming following Women's Squash Week, and I will go over the funding for that programming on the next slide. And then the funding and the funding and equipment will be $150 at this level, 9 balls, and up to 3 ambassador shirts. So Squash BC is supporting ambassadors and facilities with retention of Women's Squash Week participants through our new Women in Squash programming funding grant. We want to focus on grassroots women's programming that engage participants for a 4-week period. And we were hoping that the program starts between October 1st and November 15th. So you can engage participants right after Women's Squash Week. So the event requirements include a minimum 4-week program at level 1 and 3 to 8 participants, and you will receive $50 in event funding and 3 balls. And then at level 2, again, the 4-week minimum requirement, and this will have 9 plus participants, and the event funding will be $100 and 6 balls. I don't think it's seen there. Okay, any questions? No. So the Women in Squash Ambassador Package will have everything you need to make your event a success. It includes event best practices, strategies on recruiting new female participants, how-to guides, marketing templates, programming ideas for retaining participants, and so much more. This guide will be sent out to you after this meeting, and will also live on our Women's Squash Week page on Squash BC. So if you ever need to reference it, it'll be there as well. And if you have any questions afterwards, you can also contact us at programs@squashbc.com. So important deadlines to remember is August 10th for your event registration. August 10th deadline is in a month. And this deadline is to guarantee your Women's Squash Week ambassador shirt sizing. So if you want a small, medium, whatever size, that's the deadline. On September 1st, this is the deadline for event funding, marketing materials, and equipment. And then October 15th is the post-event report deadline. More information on the post-event report and the requirements will be on the ambassador package. So everything can be seen there. So Women in Squash program of grant deadlines are September 15th for the application submission and December 1st, the last day of the year, for the post-program report. And again, all program reports will be seen in the ambassador package. So the next steps for everyone here is to pick an event and time at your facility, submit your event details to the Women's Squash Week event information page. A link again will be shared and it can be found in the package. Guarantee your Women's Squash Week shirt by submitting your event by August 10th, and guarantee your poster equipment by sending event information by September 1st. So we hope to make Women's Squash Week a huge success again this year at your club and all over the province. And if you have any questions, please contact us at programs@squashbc.com. Yeah. Josh, over to you if you have any additional information. But
That's it on my side of things. So we'll open the floor to if you have any questions about Women's Squash Week this coming year.
Hi, everyone. I've never attended one before, Josh, so I'm just curious, are there opportunities for the clubs to meet each other? Like, is there an event where you bring everyone together, or is it kind of our own club does our own thing?
We could host another session like early September once we have all the events confirmed, and then we get the group of ambassadors together and just plan and support each other just to make sure this year's event's a success. So yeah, last year we offered mentorship opportunity where like ambassadors could sign up to be mentored by a former ambassador. We didn't have any uptake in it last year, but we could run that program again if interested. Jody?
Hi, I haven't played for squash for a while because I hurt my knee, but Giselle's at Cedar Hill, I think, and they have a wait list of like 2 years, but I live out close by Panorama Rec, so it's not an official club, it just has 2 courts. So could I do that something there?
Yeah, so Women's Squash Week, it doesn't need to be a member facility. We just want to get as many women on the courts as possible and engage them throughout the year, so making sure that they're playing squash and having fun.
Okay, and I'm currently not a Squash BC member. Probably that's a prerequisite, is it? Or
No, it's not.
no?
It's open
Okay.
to anybody. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, I'm Shelley Neal. I wanted to say this is great that you guys are doing this again. And I love that we have new people. Jody, I've never met you before, but thanks for attending, and 2 from Vancouver Island. That's great. Giselle and Diana, I met you last night on the squash court. That was fun. I noticed there's a lack of local Vancouver clubs, which mostly because either they didn't know about this or they've done it before. But we do get great participation once we communicate better with them. And to that point, I guess my background is running the Women in Squash Women's Squash Week program for 5 years before Squash BC took it over. And I'm happy, Josh and Justina, that you're still doing it. I did feel like with the previous Squash BC executive, they were always bugging me, like, when's this going to happen? Shelley, what about Women's Squash Week? What about this? And Natasha is great with ideas. So it'd be great to see that enthusiasm and just a little bit of heads up from maybe just more interaction, more better communication, because that's the only thing that's missing. You guys have great ideas every time we've had one of these sessions. The ideas that come out of it are great. The sessions work great. It just seems to be a little bit last minute, and we would love to get more and more people involved in this, more and more players. I love, like, your goals are increased. That's great. Let's increase participation. How do we do it? And who else can we engage? Like, if you guys ask me personally, will you run, one of the sessions or whatever? I would probably say yes. So there's a lot of people we can reach out to help. And definitely this group is a start. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody taking the time to be here. And Squash BC, I very much appreciate you guys doing this, but please reach out if you need anything.
Sounds great. And yeah, that's something we're working on, is better communications around the various programs. We had a meeting with all the club pros last week or 2 weeks ago. And they also got most of this information. So that's why a few of those clubs might not be on this call. So yeah, we'll be sending out an email to probably everybody that attended a Women's Squash Week event last year, last year, and any of the ambassadors from last year, just that all those people are communicated with. They're gonna get this recording as well as all the ambassador package, the funding supports and whatnot. So we're hoping to get as many things on the calendar earlier on the calendar as possible, compared to last year where we got a lot of the events coming in September 1st and rushing to post stuff and make posters and getting them up in the clubs. So that's something we're aiming to get out as soon as possible. All right.
Thank you for that.
Any other questions?
Go ahead, Giselle.
It's not necessarily a question, but I just want to say, like, I know my club has limitations. We don't have a liquor license, which sometimes can be limiting, like, to attract more women to do something like bigger. But we also have a big wait list, so I can't really take on more members. But yeah, I mean, something I've done is, like, reached out to my club and, like, the rec center and try and get them to cover drop-in fees and things like that for the duration of Women's Squash Week, and that's been a success. The other thing is, I would suggest try and get other female players around your area, like maybe do an exhibition or something like that, or like clinics. Like, that's been a big success here too. I'm also happy to help anyone who needs help. I know Dara has also done a lot of great things in Squamish, and I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a lot of other success stories, so it might be cool to kind of hear those as well and get some more ideas. But maybe they're in the package, and I'll look at that as well. But yeah, thanks for putting this together and for increasing the funding towards the programming as well, which helps. And yeah, thanks to everyone who's, like, maybe not necessarily a coach, but trying to help and grow the sport, which is really important. Because as a coach personally, I already have, like, a lot of other things, but I do feel that personal responsibility to try and help and grow the sport. But I can only do so much on my own, so it really helps to have other ambassadors doing some work. So yeah, let me know if you need anything, and yeah, I can put my email on the chat as well. But thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say, is just some ideas for things, but maybe it's in the package. And then Giselle's already messaged me that she'll take my email and communicate with me, but it would be nice maybe if there's other folks like Shelly, I wouldn't mind your email. Sounds like you've done a lot of things, because otherwise I'd just be winging it, because that's what I do, but it'd probably be more organized if I had more help. Yeah.
Yeah, the ambassador package also has, like, an event checklist, so it has everything from, like, how to set up a event to creating registration pages, communications, everything leading up to the event, as well as things to do at the event and after the event. So I think it's like an 18-page document, so there's a lot of good ideas and information in it.
I am, yeah.
People use.
Just trying to get out of a call. Hang on.
Any other questions?
Can
Perfect.
we
Yeah.
share our information from this group, contact info and stuff? I don't know if that would, just the people that are on this call, if we can just share that info or any
Is
other.
everyone okay if I share your emails? Yeah. Perfect. Okay, we'll
Thanks.
send something out after this meeting, just that this group has everyone's emails. Okay. Thank you for taking time of your lunch, and enjoy the summer weather finally.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
So is the
Thanks a
evening
lot.
session canceled? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, there's only Natasha registered, so
Okay.
yeah, so
Jen
she's able.
Armtorp was going to, because she couldn't make it, but
Okay. Yeah, I'll share
I'll
this.
pass
recording.
on, I'll pass on info to the VRC group
Perfect.
that I'm aligned with, but otherwise the idea of sending the email out to everybody works great. Then people can't say they didn't know, they didn't get the email, but I also think it's important to get a follow-up just in case you forgot. August 10th, we need to know.
Yep.
Make
We'll
sure
send
you're
something
talking to your
early
co-pro
August.
or whatever. Yeah,
Yep.
so that would be great if you can keep on top of that. We'd love to see this as successful as it was last year.
Sweet. Thank you. All right. See you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.